single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
So you want to be a professional wrestler. That's your dream, that's your goal, that's your ambition. Great. A lot of us have. And this here show is called Life in Wrestling. We've not really touched on wrestling, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to give you a few tips on if your dream and your aspirations is to become a professional wrestler. And it's not going to be pretty, it's going to be honest. It's not going to be, you can do it. It's going to be cold, hard truth. First of all, you want to be a pro wrestler, be honest with yourself. Can you run 50 feet without stopping? Can you run 25 feet without stopping and being out of breath? If your cardio sucks, you got to get in shape. I'm not saying you have to have abs. You can have a belly. Dusty Rhodes had a belly, but Dusty Rhodes was an athlete. You have to have an athletic bone in your body. You have to be in good shape. You have to be able to actually wrestle to do this. You can't be blowed up and out of breath and out of gas in 30 seconds. You're not going to be a professional wrestler. If that's the case, you have to buy a ticket. Stay a fan. Play SmackDown versus Raw or WWE 2K. Physically fit, you have to be in shape. Part 2, you got to be mentally tough. Wrestling's a cold-hearted business. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't care what space of mind you're in at the moment. You'll hear this quote nowadays that wrestling is for everyone, but the reality of it is survival of the fittest. Get used to false promises. Get used to broken promises. Getting used to being used. Get used to disheartening news. You're going to be told so many times, we got plans for you. You're going to be told, oh, we're getting ready to send you to this country over here to wrestle, and it doesn't happen. You have to be mentally tough. And then you're going to hear the insults, the slurs from fans, from people within the business. Are you going to become a social justice warrior and say, this is not right? No, it's not right. But it's going to happen. This is the real world. This isn't the world where we can pick and choose what actually happens. Because if so, we would all be successful. We would all be the boss. We would all be the head honcho. And in a perfect world, that doesn't work because somebody has to follow. Somebody has to be the second banana. If everyone's a world champion, then nobody's a champion. So you have to be mentally tough. You have to take the disadvantages and the insults and use them to your benefit. Now, as far as wrestling schools go and getting into wrestling, ask yourself this: what's your last name? Is your father, mother, uncle, aunt, grandfather, grandmother a world famous professional wrestler? I don't mean on a regional level, I mean world famous. If the answer is yes, congratulations. Some doors may open for you a little bit quicker and things may seem a little bit easier. You'll still have to prove your worth, but doors may open a little quicker. Now, if you don't have that famous last name, you're still in luck. Are you a famous athlete that has shown interest in pro wrestling before? Any athlete, football, baseball, basketball, MMA, boxing. You're not? Okay. Because doors sometimes open a little bit quicker for them as well. But if you're not, still okay, still got a chance. Are you a celebrity? Any kind of entertainment, whether it's actor, musician, reality star, been on real TV, not local TV. Nope. Okay. Well, that means you're going to have to go to wrestling school. You're going to have to actually learn how to wrestle and develop talent and develop skill before the actual real professional wrestling takes interest in you. You're going to actually have to prove yourself. And what you do, you find a credible pro wrestling school. Now, I don't know many schools that can compare to the Performance Center. I don't. The wrestling school isn't judged on the building. The wrestling school is judged on the teaching ability. Because the original OVW, which was known for training Batista, John Cena, and Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar, and Shelton Benjamin, and so many others that went on to become multimillionaires. It was in a building that was pretty much condemned. So a condemned building turned individuals into millionaires. But the thing is, they had some of the best training in the world. And there's excellent trainers out there. There's Danny Cage at the Monster Factory. There's Booker T and Stevie Ray in Texas at the Reality of Wrestling. There's QT Marshall in Georgia. There's Mr. Number One George South in Charlotte. There's Ricky Morton in Tennessee of the Rock and Roll Express. There's so many great wrestling schools out there. Dr. Tom Pritchard in Kane has one in Tennessee as well. Get quality training. Get trained by someone who knows what they're doing. And also, just because they've got a famous name doesn't mean that's the best wrestling school. Great players don't always make great coaches. You have to look, who have these guys trained? What lineage of guys have they turned out that's turned out to be successful? And then you have to ask yourself, okay, after wrestling, where can they help me get to? There's too many Joe Nobodies out there training guys, taking their money, and they have nowhere to get to. George South has been known to carry his students all over the country and help them get name recognition. Ricky Morton carries his students all over. There's a lot of guys that take this seriously and teach you the right way. And there's even a lot more that don't. You can find a wrestling school that's tied in with a wrestling company that will give you matches as long as you go. What good is wrestling school if you're never able to wrestle? Because they have no connections. Wrestling with Purpose has even started up a wrestling school. And we regularly have Mr. Number One George South, have Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant, has Barbarian, the Dawsons off of NWA have been there. There's several great guys on the independents that wrestle with Wrestling with Purpose. And they have a school, which means even if you don't take your students all over, if you have a company you can tie into, and that's the thing with Wrestling with Purpose, they're tied in with so many different companies. And they have so many connections that they're able to carry their students, not just the Wrestling with Purpose shows, but other shows as well. And you find a credible school that gives you opportunities beyond the school. Because it's like having a degree but nowhere to apply it, nowhere to work. Okay, now we found a credible school. You sign up. Now, here's some cold hard facts also. Have a job, people. Have a 40-hour job. Keep a 40-hour job until either WWE, AEW, or New Japan signs you. Only those three. One of those three, you keep a job until one of those three sign you. Because the reality of it is, the pay, stop. Look at the coronavirus pandemic right now. Job security is not the best. But if you got a contract that says you're getting paid and you can live a comfortable living, it's okay to quit your 9-to-5 job. But until then, keep a job, people. Because your bills is coming whether you're wrestling or not. 2, have a license and a dependable vehicle. You want to wrestle? Majority of wrestling is found in a vehicle traveling from show to show. You are only going to wrestle anywhere from 6-7 minutes up to maybe an hour once you get talented enough. Average car ride to a show is anywhere from 3 hours to 10 to 15 one way. So, if you were used to riding with John Boy and Billy Bob, and you, John Boy and Billy Bob, get booked on a show after training wrestling school, but John Boy and Billy Bob can't make it, and you're still booked on the show, but you don't go because you don't have a license or car. Guess what? Quick way not to get booked again is start no showing. Get a reputation for no showing. I guarantee you'll also get a reputation for not being booked much. Because a wrestling promoter doesn't want to make plans, doesn't have to want to change things. He's already got enough on his plate the day of the show than to have to deal with guys no showing because they didn't have a license or their ride didn't show up. So have a license. Have your own vehicle. So some tips. Let's sum it all up. Be in shape. You don't have to have abs like John Morrison. But you need to be in shape. You need to be able to run, jump, fall, pick up heavy wrestlers. You need to be mentally tough. You're going to, at some point on this journey, you're going to be taking showers and rest stops, locking the doors, using the sink as a shower. There's going to come times where you're going to a Crystal's Burgers, taking $4, buying some burgers, and those burgers are going to last you 2 days. There's going to be times you're not going to sleep for 3 or 4 days traveling across the country. There's going to be times you're going to be sleeping in your car. Whether it's cold or hot, you're going to be sleeping in your car. There's going to be times you're going to miss family functions. You're going to miss weddings. You're going to miss funerals. You're going to miss birthdays. You're going to miss Christmases. You're going to miss Thanksgivings. Wrestling does not care about your personal life. Wrestling does not care about your feelings because at the end of the day, there's another wrestler somewhere else waiting to take your spot. Be mentally tough. Be able to push through. People's going to hurt your feelings. They're going to say derogatory comments. They're going to say slurs. They're going to say all kinds of stuff. No, it is not right. But you can't stop it. Because whether it's people from within the business or fans, you just got to learn how to endure and outlast. Because this world is not a nice place, and neither is the wrestling business. So you have to be physically fit. You have to be mentally fit. You have to be emotionally fit. And then you have to realize you have to have license. You have to have a job. You have to be able to survive. Wrestling is survival. Wrestling is a wrestling match. It is a fight. It is survival. And the whole goal to this is survival of the fittest. You have to prepare your mind. You have to prepare your heart. You have to prepare your soul for this. So you want to be a professional wrestler, you better be a fighter. You better be a survivor. You better know what you're getting into. As I said, there's a lot of good wrestling schools out there. Do your research. Wrestling isn't all the glitz and glamour. It isn't always WrestleMania. Sometimes wrestling is dirty. So if you want to be a professional wrestler, it's a ride. It's a great ride. There's going to be lows and there's going to be highs. But it's a journey that'll teach you more about life than any book in any library on the face of God's green earth. It'll shape you into a person. But it's up to you what kind of person you let it shape you into. As far as me goes, I wouldn't trade the journey I've been on in professional wrestling for nothing in the world. There's been a lot of blood shed, and there's been a lot of tears. There's been broken bones and broken hearts. But wrestling's taught me that I'm a fighter and I'm a survivor. Because no matter how big an opponent or the obstacles in our way, a lot of times our biggest and baddest opponent is within. Wrestling will teach you can pin down those self-doubts. So it don't matter whether he dreams wrestling, whether he dreams being a school teacher, doctor, lawyer, football player, astronaut, firefighter. It's survival of the fittest. You have to survive yourself. You have to survive your own mindset. You have to defeat the enemy within. And remember, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's not just for me. That's for you too.
Every single day